Kim Day pushed his cleaning cart down the long hallway of the Federation starship. His shoes made soft sounds on the metal floor. The cart had 4 wheels that squeaked a little when he turned corners. Inside the cart were bottles of cleaning, fluid, cloths, and tools for fixing small problems. The ship was called Stellar Harmony. It was the biggest and best ship in the Federation fleet. The walls were white and clean. Blue lights ran along the ceiling. Everything looked perfect, and New Day wore a gray uniform with no rank marks. On his chest was a small badge that said Maintenance Staff. His hair was black and cut short. He was not very tall, but he had strong hands from years of work. Other crew members walked past him in the hallway. They wore colorful uniforms with shiny buttons and medals. Some were Villani aliens. They were tall and thin with skin that looked like crystal. Their eyes were large and blue. When they moved, their skin caught the light and sparkled. Others were Korvac aliens. They were big and strong with thick skin like armor. Their hands had 3 fingers each. Their voices were deep and loud. When they walked, their heavy boots made the floor shake a little. None of them looked at Day. To them, he was just part of the background, like a piece of furniture or a machine. They stepped around his cart without saying anything. Sometimes they dropped trash on the floor right after he cleaned it. Captain Veltar walked toward Day. He was a Villani with silver skin and a red uniform. His chest was covered with medals. He was talking to another officer about battle plans. The pirates are getting stronger, Veltar said. We need better weapons. The captain stepped over Day's cleaning supplies without looking down. The supplies scattered across the floor. Day quietly picked them up and put them back in his cart. The captain kept walking and talking like nothing happened. In the main room where crew members ate their meals, Communications Officer Nara was giving a speech. She was a Villani with golden skin. Her voice was high and musical. Our sensors can detect enemy ships from very far away, she said to a group of young officers. This gives us a big advantage in battle. Day moved quietly around the room, cleaning tables and emptying trash. He listened to every word Nara said, but she never noticed him. To her, he was invisible. Later, Day went to the engine room. Chief Engineer Torak was there. He was a big Korvac with dark gray skin. His uniform was stained with oil and grease. He was looking at a computer screen that showed the ship's systems. Day had been watching the engines for weeks while he cleaned. He saw a small problem that the engineers had not noticed. One of the power systems was running too hot. It was not dangerous yet, but it could cause problems later. Excuse me, sir, Day said in a quiet voice. Torak looked down at him with annoyance. What do you want? I am busy. I noticed something about the power system. In Section 7. It might need attention. Torak laughed. It was a loud, rough sound. You are a janitor. You do not know anything about engines. Go back to your cleaning. Day nodded and walked away. He did not argue. He had learned long ago that arguing would only make things worse. The aliens thought humans were primitive and stupid. Nothing he said would change their minds. But Admiral Roth was different. She was the commander of the whole ship. She was a Villani with white skin and silver hair. Her eyes were sharp and intelligent. Unlike the other officers, she sometimes noticed things that others missed. That day, Admiral Roth was walking through the ship, checking on different departments. She liked to see everything herself instead of just reading reports. She saw Day working near the weapons storage room. He was fixing a broken light panel. He had taken the panel apart and was carefully examining the wires inside. His movements were quick and sure, like someone who had done this work many times before. Most people would have called a technician to fix the light. But Day fixed it himself. He knew exactly which wire was broken and how to repair it. He had the right tools and used them correctly. Admiral Roth watched him work. There was something about the way he moved that caught her attention. His hands were steady, his eyes focused on the problem. He worked like a professional, not like someone who just cleaned floors. When Day finished fixing the light, he tested it to make sure it worked. The light came on bright and steady. He packed his tools away neatly and prepared to move on. As he bent down to pick up his supplies, his uniform collar shifted. Admiral Roth saw something on his neck. It looked like markings or tattoos. They were small and dark, but she could see that they were not random designs. They looked like symbols or writing. She had never seen markings like that before. Most humans did not have tattoos, and these markings looked important somehow. They were not decorative. They seemed to mean something. Admiral Roth wanted to look closer, but Day stood up and pulled his collar back into place. The markings were hidden again. He picked up his cart and started to walk away. "Wait," Admiral Roth called out. Day stopped and turned around. He looked nervous. "Yes, Admiral?" "That light panel. How did you know how to fix it?" Day was quiet for a moment. "I have fixed many things, Admiral. You learn by doing. But this is advanced technology. It requires specialized training. I watch the technicians when they work. I learn from them." Admiral Roth studied his face. His answer was reasonable, but something felt wrong. The way he had fixed the light was too skilled, too confident. It was not the work of someone who just watched and copied. "What is your name?" she asked. "Kim Day, Admiral." "How long have you worked on this ship?" 6 months, Admiral." "And before that?" Day hesitated. "I worked on other ships, cleaning and maintenance." Admiral Roth nodded, but she was not satisfied. There was something about this human that did not fit. She made a mental note to check his records later. "Carry on," she said. Day bowed slightly and walked away with his cart. Admiral Roth watched him go. The way he walked was interesting, too. Most of the human workers shuffled along with their heads down. They looked defeated and tired. But Day walked differently. His back was straight. His steps were measured and purposeful. Even though he pushed a cleaning cart and wore a maintenance uniform, he moved like someone with authority, and those markings on his neck. Admiral Roth could not stop thinking about them. She had traveled to many worlds and met many species. She knew the difference between decoration and significance. Those markings meant something important. The ship's computer chimed, indicating the end of the work shift. Crew members began heading to their quarters or to the recreation areas. The hallways became less crowded. Day finished his cleaning route and returned his cart to the storage room. He checked that all his supplies were clean and ready for the next day. Everything had to be perfect. Any mistake would draw attention, and attention was dangerous. He walked to his small quarters in the lower section of the ship. The room was tiny, with just a bed, a desk, and a small storage locker. On the wall was a mirror and a wash basin. Day looked at himself in the mirror. He touched his throat where the markings were hidden under his collar. For 6 months, he had kept them covered. For 6 months, he had played the role of a simple maintenance worker. But Admiral Roth had seen something. He could tell by the way she looked at him. She was smart and observant. If anyone on this ship would figure out the truth, it would be her. Day sat on his bed and thought about his situation. He and the other humans on the ship were living a lie. They were not what they seemed to be. They had been ordered to hide their true nature and blend in as workers. The plan had worked for months. The aliens thought humans were weak and primitive. They gave them the lowest jobs and ignored them completely. This was exactly what the human leadership wanted, but secrets could not stay hidden forever, especially from someone like Admiral Roth. Day wondered how much longer they could maintain their disguise. He touched his throat again and felt the raised lines of the tattoos beneath his skin. They told a story that the aliens were not ready to hear. A story of war, survival, and capabilities that would shock the entire Federation. For now, the secret was safe. But Day had a feeling that would not last much longer. The alarm started screaming at 3 in the morning. Red lights flashed in every hallway. The ship's computer voice spoke in urgent tones. "Alert! Alert! Enemy vessels detected! All crew to battle stations! This is not a drill!" Day woke up instantly. He had been sleeping lightly, like he always did. Years of training had taught him to be ready at any moment. He rolled out of bed and grabbed his maintenance uniform from the hook on the wall. In the hallways, alien crew members ran toward their stations. They looked confused and scared. The Villani moved quickly, their crystal skin flashing in the red emergency lights. The Korvax stomped heavily, their armor clanking with each step. Day walked calmly through the chaos. He pushed his cleaning cart, like it was any normal day, but his eyes were alert, watching everything. He counted how many crew members were running to each station. He noted which weapon systems were being activated first. On the bridge, Captain Veltar was shouting orders. His silver skin had turned pale with stress. "How did they get so close? Where are our sensors?" Lieutenant Kira, a young Volani officer, checked her instruments with shaking hands. "The sensors show nothing, Captain. Then suddenly 5 ships appeared right next to us." "Impossible," Veltar said. "Our sensors are the best in the Federation." Chief, Tactical Officer Juno was a Korvac with thick black armor. He worked at the weapons control station. His 3-fingered hands moved quickly over the controls. "Enemy ships are surrounding us. They have some kind of stealth technology." Admiral Roth arrived on the bridge. Her white skin was calm, but her eyes were sharp and focused. "Report," she commanded. "Black Star pirates. Admiral," Veltar said. 5 ships, heavy weapons. They appeared from nowhere. Admiral Roth looked at the main screen. 5 dark ships moved around the stellar harmony like wolves around prey. They were firing energy weapons that made the Federation ships shake and tremble. "Shields are down to 60%, Juno reported. "Their weapons are stronger than expected. Return fire," Admiral Roth ordered. Juno pressed the weapon controls. The Stellar Harmony's guns fired bright beams of energy at the pirate ships. But the pirates moved in strange patterns. They twisted and spun through space in ways that made them hard to hit. "They know our weapons," Juno said with frustration. "Every time I aim, they move exactly the right way to avoid the shot." Day was in a side corridor, officially cleaning the floor. But really, he was watching the battle through a maintenance access panel. He could see the tactical displays that showed the positions of all the ships. The pirates were not just moving randomly. They were using advanced tactics. They knew exactly how Federation ships fought. They knew the standard defensive patterns and how to counter them. Communications Officer Nara tried to call for help. "This is Stellar Harmony requesting immediate assistance. We are under attack by Black Star pirates," a rough voice answered over the radio. "No help is coming, Federation dogs. We made sure of that." The pirate leader laughed. "We have been watching you for months. We know everything about your precious ship. Your weapons, your shields, your tactics. You are finished." Another explosion rocked the ship. Sparks flew from damaged control panels. Several crew members were thrown to the floor. The lights flickered and went dim. "Shields down to 30%, Juno reported. His voice was tight with fear. Day watched the tactical display more carefully. The pirates were good, but they were not perfect. They had studied Federation tactics, but those tactics were old and predictable. The pirates expected the Federation to fight like they always did, but Day could see weaknesses in the pirate formation. There were gaps they could exploit, angles of attack they had not considered. If someone could think outside of standard Federation tactics, they might have a chance. He looked around the corridor. Other human workers were nearby. Cook Lee Han was carrying food supplies to the emergency stations. Maintenance worker Park Sol was checking damaged systems. Cargo handler Choi Wan was securing loose equipment. Like Day, they all moved calmly through the chaos. Their eyes were alert and focused. They were not panicking like the alien crew members. Day caught Lee Han's eye and made a small hand signal. Lee Han nodded slightly and passed the signal to Park Sol. She passed it to Choi Wan. The message spread quietly through the human workers on the ship. The message was simple. Be ready. On the bridge, the situation was getting worse. Shields. Down to 15%, Juno reported. Hull damage on decks 5 and 6. Captain Veltar was sweating. His crystal skin had lost its shine. How are they so good? These are just pirates. Admiral Roth studied the tactical display. She could see the same weaknesses that Day had noticed. But every time she ordered a new attack pattern, the pirates responded perfectly. It was like they could read her mind. They have inside information, she said quietly. Someone has been feeding them our tactical data. A new explosion shook the ship harder than before. The main lights went out completely. Emergency power kicked in, bathing everything in red light. Shields failing, Juno called out. They are preparing to board us. Through the view screen, they could see small fighter ships launching from the pirate vessels. The fighters moved fast toward the Stellar Harmony. Each one carried armed pirates ready to take control of the ship. Security teams to all airlocks, Admiral Roth ordered. Prepare to repel boarders. But Day knew the security teams would not be enough. The Federation soldiers were trained for normal combat. They were not ready for the brutal tactics that pirates used. He moved through the corridors, officially checking for damage. But really, he was positioning himself near key locations. He passed other human workers and exchanged quick looks with them. They were all thinking the same thing. The first pirate fighters attached to the ship's hull with loud clanging sounds. Cutting tools began burning through the metal. In minutes, armed pirates would pour into the ship. Federation security teams took positions near the airlocks. They had energy rifles and protective armor, but Day could see they were nervous. Some of them were shaking. The pirates broke through the first airlock with a blast that echoed through the ship. Smoke and sparks filled the corridor. Dark figures in heavy armor charged through the opening. The Federation security team fired their weapons. Bright energy beams lit up the smoke, but the pirates had better armor and more experience. They moved, like professionals, using cover and teamwork. Within minutes, the first security team was defeated. The pirates began moving deeper into the ship. Their heavy boots echoed in the corridors. Their weapons hummed with deadly energy. More pirate teams broke through other airlocks. Soon, enemy soldiers were scattered throughout the ship. They moved with purpose, heading for the bridge, the engine room, and other critical areas. Admiral Roth watched the security cameras with growing concern. Her forces were being overwhelmed. The pirates fought better than any criminals should be able to fight. "How are they so organized?" Captain Veltar asked. "These tactics are military grade." Day was in a maintenance corridor near the main computer. Core. Two pirates came around the corner, moving carefully with their weapons ready. They wore black armor with skull symbols. Their helmets covered their faces. One pirate pointed at Day. "Just a maintenance worker," he said in a harsh voice. "Ignore him." They walked past Day like he was not there. Just another unimportant human worker, not worth their attention. But as they passed, Day noticed something important. The pirates moved like soldiers, but they were overconfident. They expected easy victory. They were not watching for threats from unexpected sources. More explosions echoed through the ship. The pirates were planting charges to disable key systems. They knew exactly where to place them for maximum effect. Admiral Roth's voice came over the ship's communication system. "All crew members, this is the Admiral. We are being boarded. Follow emergency protocols. Do not resist if confronted by pirates. Help is coming." But Day knew no help was coming. The pirates had planned this attack too well. They had cut off communications and blocked any rescue attempts. He looked at his reflection in a broken computer screen. For 6 months, he had been just a janitor, invisible and ignored. But now, the ship needed something the Federation could not provide. It needed someone who could fight like the pirates fought. Someone who understood real warfare, not just parade ground tactics. Day touched his throat where the hidden markings lay beneath his collar. The tattoos told the story of the Sigma conflict, 15 years of brutal war against an enemy that showed no mercy, 15 years of learning to fight, survive, and win against impossible odds. The pirates thought they were facing a soft Federation ship with predictable tactics. They had no idea that some of the crew members were veterans of the bloodiest war. In human history, Day made his decision. He found a communication panel that the pirates had not yet discovered. His fingers moved quickly over the controls, entering a code that he had memorized years ago. The code would activate Protocol 7. Every human on the ship would receive the signal. They would know it was time to stop pretending, time to show the galaxy what humans could really do. Admiral Roth ran through the damaged corridors of her ship. Smoke filled the air. Emergency lights cast strange shadows on the walls. She could hear the sounds of fighting in the distance. The pirates were winning. Her security teams were falling back on every deck. The bridge was surrounded. Soon, the ship would be completely under enemy control. She turned a corner and nearly collided with Day. He was pushing his cleaning cart through the chaos like nothing unusual was happening. His gray uniform was clean. His face was calm. "What are you doing?" Admiral Roth demanded. "The ship is under attack. Get to a safe location." Day looked at her with steady eyes. "There are no safe locations, Admiral." Something in his voice made her stop. It was not the voice of a frightened maintenance worker. It was calm and controlled, like the voice of someone who had been in battles before. She looked at him more carefully. Even in the middle of a crisis, he stood straight and alert. His hands were steady. His breathing was controlled. While trained officers were panicking, this janitor remained perfectly composed. "Show me your neck," she said suddenly. Day's expression did not change, but Admiral Roth saw a flicker of something in his eyes. Caution, maybe, or resignation. "Admiral, I do not understand." "Your collar shifted earlier when you were working. I saw markings on your throat. Show them to me. Now!" For a long moment they stared at each other. The sounds of battle echoed around them. Somewhere nearby, pirates were taking control of another section of the ship. Finally, Day reached up and pulled down his collar. The markings on his throat were revealed in the red emergency light. Admiral Roth stared in shock. These were not simple tattoos. They were intricate designs that covered his entire throat and disappeared under his shirt. She could see star charts, weapon schematics, and tactical formations. But most shocking of all were the rank insignia. "Commander," she whispered, reading the symbols. "You are a military commander." Day nodded slowly. "Commander Kim Day, Human Defense Corps, veteran of the Sigma conflict." Admiral Roth felt like the floor had dropped out from under her. The Sigma conflict? But that was just a small territorial dispute. Our records show it lasted only a few months. "Your records are wrong, Admiral. The Sigma conflict lasted 15 years. It cost us 12 million lives. It was the bloodiest war in human history." She stared at him. "That is impossible. The Federation knows about all major conflicts. The Federation knows what we told you. When humanity applied to join the Federation, we studied your history carefully. We learned that you have a habit of eliminating species that might pose a threat. So we lied." Day's voice was matter-of-fact, like he was discussing the weather. "We told you we were primitive and peaceful. We hid our weapons technology. We scattered our military personnel throughout the galaxy as workers and laborers. We became invisible." Admiral Roth thought about all the human workers on Federation ships. Janitors, cooks, maintenance staff. Workers who were ignored and overlooked. "How many of you are there?" "On this ship? 47 humans? 31. Of them are military veterans with combat experience." The number hit her like a physical blow. Nearly 50 humans on her ship, and most of them were soldiers in disguise. "This is treason, espionage." Day shook his head. "This is survival. Admiral, your Federation talks about peace and cooperation, but your history shows something different. Species that are too strong get eliminated. Species that are too weak get enslaved. We chose to appear weak while staying strong." An explosion echoed through the corridor. The pirates were getting closer to their position. Admiral Roth could hear their heavy boots and harsh voices. "Why are you telling me this now?" she asked. Day looked toward the sounds of battle. "Because your ship is about to fall. Your crew is good at ceremony and protocol. But they are not fighters. The pirates have real combat experience. They will win unless something changes." "And you can change it?" "We can change it. If you give us permission." Admiral Roth thought quickly. Her ship was being destroyed. Her crew was being defeated. Standard Federation tactics were not working. She needed something different. "What do you need?" "Your authorization to activate Protocol 7. Once I send that signal, every human on this ship will drop their disguise. They will become who they really are." She hesitated. Everything she thought she knew about humanity was wrong. These people had been lying to the Federation for years. But right now, lies did not matter. Only survival mattered. "Do it," she said. Day pulled a small device from his belt. It looked like a standard maintenance tool, but Admiral Roth could see it was something else entirely. He pressed several buttons in a specific sequence. A soft beep indicated the signal had been sent. "It is done," Day said. "Protocol 7 is active." Almost immediately, Admiral Roth's communication device chimed. Reports began coming in from all over the ship. "Admiral, this is Deck 5. Something strange is happening. The human workers they are fighting the pirates, and they are winning." Deck 7 reporting. "The humans in the kitchen just defeated an entire pirate squad. They used cooking equipment as weapons." Engineering section. "The maintenance staff just retook the engine room. The pirates are retreating." Admiral Roth stared at Day. "What exactly did you people do during the Sigma conflict?" "We learned to fight an enemy that showed no mercy. The Zarathi Empire had better weapons, better ships, and more soldiers. But we had something they did not have." "What?" "We learned to be ruthless. We learned to use anything as a weapon. We learn to fight dirty and win at any cost. The Federation teaches honorable combat. We learn to survive. As if to prove his point, they heard the sound of running feet. 3 pirates rounded the corner, weapons raised. They saw Admiral Roth and aimed their guns at her. Day moved faster than Admiral Roth thought possible. His cleaning cart became a weapon. He threw cleaning fluid in the first pirate's face, blinding him. The mop handle became a staff that struck the second pirate in the throat. The third pirate's weapon was knocked aside and turned against him. In less than 10 seconds, all 3 pirates were on the ground. Day stood over them, holding one of their weapons with professional skill. "You killed them," Admiral Roth said with shock. "I disabled them. They will live, but they will not fight again today." Day checked the weapon and made sure it was set to stun. "We are not monsters, Admiral, but we are not helpless either." More reports came over the communication system. All over the ship, human workers were revealing their true nature. They fought with skills that no janitor or cook should possess. They used equipment and weapons with expert precision. "How long have you been planning this?" Admiral Roth asked. "Since the day we joined the Federation. Every human worker on every Federation ship is a trained operative. We have been watching, learning, and preparing." She thought about the implications. "You have been spying on us. We have been protecting ourselves. And now we are protecting you too." Day's communication device beeped. He listened to a quick report and nodded. "The pirates are retreating from most sections of the ship, but they still control the bridge and the weapon systems. Can your people retake those areas?" "Yes, but it will require tactics that your crew might find disturbing. Are you prepared for that?" Admiral Roth looked around at the damaged corridor. Her ship was being destroyed. Her crew was being defeated. Everything she believed about human capabilities had been proven wrong. "Do whatever you have to do," she said. Day nodded and spoke into his communication device. "All units, this is command. Rules of engagement are now unrestricted. Take back the ship." Admiral Roth heard acknowledgments coming from all over the vessel. The voices were calm and professional. These people were not pretending to be soldiers. They were soldiers. "Admiral," Day said, "you should stay here while we finish this. What you are about to see will change your opinion of humanity forever." "It already has," she replied. As Day moved down the corridor with the captured weapon, Admiral Roth realized that the galaxy had just become a very different place. Humanity was not the weak, primitive species everyone thought they were. They were something much more dangerous. And they had been hiding in plain sight for years, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. That moment had finally come. Throughout the ship, the signal reached every human worker. The soft beep from their hidden communication devices told them the same thing. Protocol 7 was active. The masquerade was over. In the main kitchen, Lee Han was serving food to injured crew members when his device beeped. He looked around to make sure no aliens were watching. Then he walked to a large food storage container and pressed his hand against a hidden panel. The container opened to reveal military equipment that had been disguised as kitchen supplies. Combat armor that looked like chef's clothing, weapons that appeared to be cooking tools, communication gear hidden inside food packages. Lee Han stripped off his kitchen uniform and put on the combat gear. His movements were quick and efficient. This was not the first time he had made this transformation. A Villani medical officer saw him changing. "What are you doing?" she asked in confusion. Lee Han looked at her with different eyes now. Not the eyes of a humble cook, but the eyes of a professional soldier. "I am becoming who I really am," he said. His voice was different too, stronger and more confident. The medical officer stepped back in shock. Lee Han finished putting on his equipment and picked up what looked like a large cooking spoon. But when he pressed a button on the handle, it extended into a combat staff with energy weapons at both ends. "Sergeant Lee Han, Human Marine Corps," he said to the shocked alien. "Please stay back while I work." In the engineering section, Park Sol received the same signal. She was crawling through a maintenance tunnel, officially checking for damage. But really, she had been placing small devices throughout the ship's systems. When the signal came, she activated the devices. Suddenly, she had access to computer systems that the Federation thought were secure. Hidden cameras showed her the positions of every pirate on the ship. Secret sensors told her exactly what weapons they carried. She spoke quietly into her communication device. Corporal Park Sol, Intelligence Division. I have eyes on all enemy positions, beginning tactical coordination. Her fingers moved quickly, over a hidden control panel. Throughout the ship, lights began flashing in specific patterns. To the aliens, it looked like random damage from the battle. But to the human operatives, the lights were sending detailed tactical information. In the cargo bay, Choi Wan was securing equipment when his device beeped. He smiled for the first time in months. Finally, he could stop pretending to be weak and clumsy. He walked to a stack of boxes that were labeled as cleaning supplies, but when he opened them, they contained advanced weapons and armor. Each piece had been carefully designed to look like maintenance equipment. Choi Wan began assembling what appeared to be a simple floor buffer, but the pieces fit together to create a portable energy cannon capable of destroying a small vehicle. He had built it many times during training, but this was the first time he would use it in real combat. Private Choi Wan, heavy weapons specialist, he said to himself. Time to go to work. All over the ship, similar transformations were taking place. Humans who had spent months acting like simple workers were revealing their true nature. They moved with military precision. They used equipment with expert skill. They communicated with professional efficiency. The alien crew members who saw these transformations were shocked into silence. These people they had ignored and dismissed were trained soldiers. The janitors knew advanced technology. The cooks carried military weapons. The maintenance workers had access to classified systems. Admiral Roth watched the reports coming in with amazement. Deck 3 secured by human operatives. Deck 6 cleared of all pirates. Engine room under friendly control. Captain Veltar stared at the tactical display. Green lights were appearing all over the ship as areas were retaken from the pirates. This is impossible. How are maintenance workers defeating armed pirates? They are not maintenance workers, Admiral Roth said quietly. They never were. Day joined them in the command center that they had established in a secured corridor. He now wore combat armor that had been hidden in his cleaning cart. The armor was black and gray, designed for stealth operations. His weapon was an advanced energy rifle that looked nothing like Federation equipment. Status report, Admiral Roth requested. 70% of the ship is back under our control, Day reported. The pirates still hold the bridge and the main weapon systems, but they are confused and disorganized. They expected to fight Federation security forces. They are not prepared for our tactics. What tactics? Captain Veltar asked. Day looked at him steadily. We fight to win, Captain. Not to look honorable, not to follow rules, to win. As if to demonstrate his point, Li Han's voice came over the communication system. Kitchen team to all units. The pirates have taken hostages in the dining hall, requesting permission for non-standard rescue operation. Admiral Roth looked at D. What does that mean? It means Li Han wants to use tactics that might shock your crew, but it will save the hostages. Admiral Roth thought about the alternatives. Standard Federation hostage rescue procedures would take hours and might fail. Permission granted. Acknowledged, Li Han's voice replied. On the security cameras, they watched what happened next. Li Han's team did not assault the dining hall directly. Instead, they used the ventilation system, the floor panels, and even the food delivery systems to get into position. The pirates never saw them coming. One moment, the pirates were in control of the room with weapons pointed at hostages. The next moment, they were unconscious on the floor. The rescue happened so quickly that the hostages did not even realize what had occurred. How did they do that? Captain Veltar asked in amazement. Experience, Day answered. During the Sigma conflict, we learned that conventional tactics get people killed. We learned to be creative. Park Sol's voice came through the communication system. Intelligence team to command. I have hacked into the pirate command network. They are calling for reinforcements. Admiral Roth felt a chill. More ships? Yes, Admiral. But I have good news, too. I can access their communication systems. We can hear everything they say to each other. Day smiled grimly. That gives us a significant advantage. Park Sol, can you disrupt their communications? Already working on it, Commander. I can make them think their reinforcements are closer than they really are, or farther away. Whatever you need. Admiral Roth was beginning to understand how the humans had survived their 15-year war. They did not just fight with weapons. They fought with intelligence, deception, and tactics that their enemies could not predict. "How many pirate ships are coming?" she asked. Park Sol's voice answered immediately. "3 heavy cruisers and a command ship. They will arrive in 40 minutes." Admiral Roth felt her hopes sink. The Stellar Harmony could not fight 4 additional ships, especially with damaged systems. But Day did not look concerned. "Do we still have contact with the human workers on those incoming ships?" Park Sol was quiet for a moment, checking her systems. "Yes, Commander. Every ship in the pirate fleet has human workers. They received Protocol 7 signal too." Captain Veltar looked confused. "What does that mean?" Day explained patiently. "Pirates need workers just like everyone else. They steal supplies, maintain their ships, cook their food. They use human workers because humans are cheap and available. But those humans are also military operatives, yes. When Protocol 7 activates, it reaches every human in the sector, including the ones on the pirate ships that are coming to rescue their friends." Admiral Roth suddenly understood. "You are saying that when those ships arrive, they will be under human control," Day confirmed. "Our people have been aboard those vessels for months, just like here. When the pirates arrive, they will find that their own ships have turned against them." The communication system crackled. A new voice came through, speaking with a different accent. "This is Sergeant Kim Min, aboard the pirate vessel Dark Star. We have secured the engine room and weapons systems, awaiting orders." Another voice followed. "Corporal Oh Young on the Bloody Fang. Bridge is ours. The pirate crew is contained." More voices checked in from the incoming ships. Each one reported successful takeover of critical systems. The pirate reinforcements were no longer reinforcements. They were additional Federation assets. Captain Veltar sat down heavily in a chair. "This is incredible. You people have been planning this for years." "Not planning," Day corrected. "Preparing. We hoped we would never need Protocol 7, but we knew that someday something like this might happen." Admiral Roth looked at the tactical display. The situation had completely reversed. Instead of facing 7 pirate ships, they now had friendly forces on 4 of them. The pirates on the Stellar Harmony were cut off and outnumbered. "What happens now?" she asked. Day checked his weapon and adjusted his armor. "Now we finish this. Choi Wan's team will retake the bridge. Lee Han will secure the weapon systems. Park Sol will coordinate everything from the computer core. And you? I will personally ensure that the pirate leader understands his situation. Sometimes a direct conversation is the most effective tactic." As the human operatives prepared for the final assault, Admiral Roth realized that everything had changed. Not just the battle, but the entire balance of power in the galaxy. Humanity was not weak. They had never been weak. They had just been waiting for the right moment to show their strength. That moment had arrived. The final assault began at exactly 0347 hours. The human operatives moved like a single organism, each team knowing exactly what the others were doing without needing constant communication. Choi Wan led the attack on the bridge. His heavy weapons. Team approached through maintenance corridors that most people did not even know existed. For months, he had mapped every inch of the ship while pretending to move cargo. Now that knowledge became a deadly advantage. The pirates had set up defensive positions around the bridge entrance. They expected a frontal assault through the main corridors. Instead, Choi Wan's team came through the ceiling. The portable energy cannon that he had assembled from cleaning equipment proved devastatingly effective. The blast door that the pirates thought would protect them was destroyed in seconds. Smoke and sparks filled the bridge as the human soldiers dropped through the opening. "This is impossible," the pirate leader snarled as he saw uniformed humans where there should have been maintenance workers. "You are just janitors and cooks." Choi Wan's response was to demonstrate his marksmanship. His energy rifle fired with perfect accuracy, disabling the pirate's weapon without injuring him. "Private Choi Wan, Human Marine Corps, you are now my prisoner." The pirate leader was a Korvac with scars covering his armored face. He had fought battles across the galaxy, but he had never seen anything like this. "Where did you come from?" "We have been here all along," Choi Wan replied. "You just never bothered to look." Meanwhile, Lee Han was leading the assault on the weapon control center. The pirates there had heavy armor and automatic weapons. They thought their position was secure, But Li Han did not attack the way they expected. Instead of charging through the main entrance, his team used the food delivery system. The large tubes that carried meals throughout the ship also carried human soldiers. Li Han emerged from a food service panel behind the pirate position. His combat staff fired energy bursts that disabled their weapons. His team moved with perfect coordination, each soldier covering the others. The pirates tried to fight back, but they were confused and disorganized. They had prepared for Federation tactics, not for opponents who fought like this. "Weapon systems secured," Li Han reported. "All pirate forces in this section neutralized." Park Sol coordinated the entire operation from the computer core. Her intelligence training allowed her to monitor every system on the ship simultaneously. She watched the pirates through hidden cameras and guided the assault teams through secure communication channels. But her most important work was happening in cyberspace. She had hacked into the pirate communication network and was feeding them false information. The pirates thought they were winning when they were actually losing. They thought their reinforcements were coming when those ships were already under human control. "Pirate communication intercepted," she reported today. "They are requesting immediate evacuation. They know they cannot win." Day was making his way toward the pirate command post with a small team. Unlike the other humans, he moved alone through areas that were still contested. His combat armor allowed him to blend with the shadows. His weapons made no sound when he fired. He found the pirate leader second in command in a secured room, near the bridge. The alien was a Villani with crystal skin that had been stained black for camouflage. He was trying to plant explosive charges that would destroy the ship's computer core. "Stop!" Day commanded, his weapon aimed at the pirate's center mass. The Villani pirate looked up with surprise. "Another maintenance worker playing soldier? You cannot stop us. Even if you take this ship, more will come." "No," Day said calmly. "They will not." He activated a communication device that allowed the pirate to hear reports from the other ships. Voice after voice confirmed that the pirate vessels were under human control. Their own crews had been defeated by the workers they had ignored. The Villani's face went pale as he realized the truth. "This is not possible. Humans are primitive, weak." "That is what we wanted you to think," Day replied. "It is what we wanted everyone to think. The explosive charges were disarmed with expert skill." Day had dealt with similar devices during the Sigma conflict. The pirates were dangerous, but they were not as sophisticated as the enemies humanity had faced before. Admiral Roth watched the entire operation from the command center. The tactical display showed green lights appearing throughout the ship, as each section was secured. The pirates were being systematically defeated by opponents they had never seen coming. "How is this possible?" Captain Veltar asked for the 10th time. "These are maintenance workers." "No," Admiral Roth said, finally understanding. "These are soldiers who have been pretending to be maintenance workers. There is a difference. The speed and efficiency of the human assault was unlike anything in Federation military doctrine. The humans did not follow standard procedures. They created their own tactics based on the specific situation. When they encountered locked doors, they did not blast through them. They found other ways around. When they faced superior numbers, they did not retreat. They used the environment to even the odds. Most importantly, they fought as a team without needing constant orders. Each soldier knew what the others were doing and adapted accordingly. This kind of coordination could only come from years of training and combat experience. "Final pirate position secured," Choi Wan reported. "Bridge is under our control." "Weapon systems online and ready," Li Han added. "All pirate forces neutralized." "Computer systems secured," Park Sol confirmed. "We have complete control of the ship." Day's voice came through the communication system. "All teams, this is command. Operation successful. Stand down to security. Alert." Admiral Roth felt like she was waking up from a dream. In less than an hour, her ship had gone from being captured to being completely secured. The humans had accomplished what her trained security forces could not do. "Casualties?" she asked. "Zero fatalities on our side," Day reported. 17 pirates killed, 34 wounded, 26 captured, all according to rules of engagement. Admiral Roth was shocked. "You killed 17 of them?" "Only when they refused to surrender, Admiral. We prefer to take prisoners when possible." But we will not risk our own lives or the lives of innocent crew members. The brutal efficiency of the human assault was disturbing to Federation sensibilities, but Admiral Roth could not argue with the results. Her ship was safe. Her crew was alive. The pirates were defeated. "What about their reinforcement ships?" Captain Veltar asked. Park Saul answered from the computer core. "All 4 vessels are now under human control. The pirate crews have been contained. We estimate complete control within the next 20 minutes. Admiral Roth looked at the view screen, where the approaching ships were visible as distant lights. Soon, those ships would arrive with human crews instead of pirate crews. The entire pirate fleet would be in Federation hands. "What will you do with the captured pirates?" she asked. "That depends on you, Admiral," Day replied. "Officially, we are still just maintenance workers. This operation never happened. The pirates were defeated by Federation security forces using innovative tactics." Admiral Roth understood. The humans were offering to return to their disguise. They would go back to being invisible workers, and the Federation would never know what had really happened. But she also understood that everything had changed. She could never look at human workers the same way again. She knew what they were capable of. She knew their true nature. "And if I choose to report what really happened?" she asked. "Then humanity will face the consequences," Day said simply. "We knew this day might come. We are prepared for whatever happens next." Admiral Roth thought about her options. She could maintain the secret and continue to benefit from having these skilled operatives on her ship. Or she could report the truth and change the relationship between humanity and the Federation forever. Either way, she knew that the galaxy would never be the same. Humanity had revealed their true capabilities. The question now was what everyone would do with that knowledge. The battle was over. But the real challenge was just beginning. 3 hours after the last pirate was captured, Admiral Roth stood on the bridge of her ship. The damaged systems had been repaired with efficiency that amazed her. The human workers had not only fought like soldiers, they had also worked like master technicians. Day stood beside her, still wearing his combat armor. His weapon was secured, but he had not changed back into his maintenance uniform. The time for pretending was over. Through the view screen, they could see the 4 captured pirate ships. Each one now flew Federation colors. Human crews had taken complete control without damaging the vessels. It was a prize beyond anything the Federation had imagined. "Status report," Admiral Roth requested. Captain Veltar, who still looked shocked by everything that had happened, read from his datapad. "All systems operational. 73 pirate prisoners secured. 4 additional ships added to our fleet. 0 Federation casualties." And the human operatives. "Returning to their assigned duties," Veltar said with confusion in his voice. "They are acting like nothing happened." Admiral Roth looked around the bridge. Lee Han was back in the kitchen, preparing meals for the crew. Park Sol was checking computer systems, officially looking for damage from the battle. Choi Wan was in the cargo bay, securing equipment. To anyone who had not witnessed the battle, they looked like ordinary workers. But Admiral Roth could see the difference now. The way they moved, the way they watched everything around them, the way they communicated with small gestures and glances. "Commander Day," she said formally. "We need to discuss your status." Day nodded. "Yes, Admiral. What would you like to know?" "How many human operatives are there in the Federation fleet?" "Approximately 12,000 spread across all major vessels and installations." The number hit her like a physical blow. 12,000 soldiers disguised as workers throughout the Federation military. They had access to every secret, every weakness, every tactical plan. "This could be considered an act of war," Admiral Roth said quietly. "Yes," Day agreed. "It could be. That is why we hoped this day would never come. But it has come. The secret is out. What happens now?" Day looked out at the stars through the view screen. "That depends on what you decide to do, Admiral. You have several options." "Explain them." Option 1. You report everything to Federation Command. They will investigate and probably declare humanity a threat. War becomes likely. Admiral Roth felt a chill. War between humanity and the Federation would be devastating, especially now that she knew what humans were really capable of. "Option 2? She asked. "You report that Federation forces defeated the pirates using innovative tactics. The human operatives return to their cover identities. Nothing changes. But everything has changed, Admiral Roth protested. I know the truth now. My crew knows the truth. Yes, Day acknowledged, which brings us to option 3. He turned to face her directly. We work together officially. Humanity drops the pretense of being primitive. We become open allies and partners. Admiral Roth considered this option carefully. What would that look like? Human military advisors assigned to Federation ships, joint tactical training, shared technology and intelligence, real cooperation instead of hidden observation. It was an attractive possibility. The humans had proven their value in battle. Their tactics and technology could benefit the entire Federation. But it would also require admitting that the Federation had been deceived for years. Why should we trust you? Admiral Roth asked. You have been lying to us since the day you joined the Federation. Day's expression was serious. Because we could have taken control at any time, Admiral. With 12,000 operatives in position, we could have captured the entire Federation fleet in a coordinated operation. But we did not. We only revealed ourselves to save your ship. He was right. The humans had shown remarkable restraint. They could have been conquerors, but they had chosen to be protectors instead. What do you recommend? Admiral Roth asked. I recommend that you choose what is best for your crew and your ship, Day replied. But I will give you some additional information to help you decide. He activated a communication device. Park Sol, please patch in the intelligence reports. Park Sol's voice came through the ship's communication system. Yes, Commander. Admiral, we have been monitoring Federation communications during the battle. There are some things you should know. A holographic display appeared in the center of the bridge. It showed a star map with multiple ship positions marked in different colors. The Black Star pirates were not acting alone, Park Sol reported. They are part of a larger organization called the Shadow Fleet. Over 200 ships operating throughout Federation space. Admiral Roth stared at the display. 200 ships? Why did our intelligence not detect this? Because they have been very careful, Park Sol explained. They use captured Federation technology and stolen identity codes. They appear to be legitimate traders and transport vessels until they reveal their true nature. The display zoomed in on specific sectors. Red markers showed known Shadow Fleet positions. They were everywhere, scattered throughout Federation territory like an infection. The attack on your ship was a test, Day continued. They wanted to see how quickly they could capture a major Federation vessel. If they had succeeded, they would have launched coordinated attacks on 10 other ships simultaneously. Captain Veltar looked pale. A coordinated assault on that scale would cripple our fleet. Yes, Day agreed. And it is still planned to happen, unless we stop it. Admiral Roth studied the tactical information. The Shadow Fleet had been planning a massive operation that could destroy Federation power in multiple sectors. Only the failure of the attack on her ship had prevented it from beginning. You knew about this threat? She asked. Our intelligence network has been tracking them for months, Day confirmed. We were preparing to warn the Federation when this attack forced our hand. Admiral Roth realized that the human deception had actually protected the Federation. Their operatives had been gathering intelligence on threats that Federation sensors had missed. Why did you not warn us sooner? Because any warning would have revealed our presence. We were hoping to find a way to stop the Shadow Fleet without exposing our operatives. The tactical display updated to show new information. Ship movements, communication intercepts, supply routes. The humans had gathered an enormous amount of intelligence about the Shadow Fleet. With this information, we can stop them, Admiral Roth said. Yes, but it will require cooperation between Federation forces and human operatives. The kind of cooperation that is only possible if we work together openly. Admiral Roth made her decision. The safety of the Federation was more important than pride or protocol. What do you propose? A joint task force, Day said immediately. Federation ships with human tactical advisors, combined crews using both Federation discipline and human creativity, shared intelligence and coordinated operations. And afterward we negotiate a new relationship between humanity and the Federation. One based on truth instead of deception. One based on partnership instead of servitude. Admiral Roth looked around her bridge. Her crew was listening to every word. They had seen what humans could accomplish when they revealed their true nature. The choice was clear. "Very well," she said formally. "I hereby authorize the formation of a joint Human Federation task force to deal with the Shadow Fleet threat. Commander Day, you are appointed as tactical advisor with full authority to coordinate human operatives throughout the fleet." Day saluted in human military fashion. "Thank you, Admiral. I accept the appointment." Captain Veltar looked confused. "What do I tell Federation Command?" "Tell them the truth," Admiral Roth decided. "Tell them that humanity is not what we thought they were. Tell them that we have new allies who can help us face threats we did not even know existed." She activated the ship's communication system to address the entire crew. "This is Admiral Roth. Today we learned that our human crew members are not what they seem to be. They are trained military personnel who have been protecting us without our knowledge. I am proud to announce that they will now serve openly as our partners and allies." The response from the crew was immediate. Applause echoed through the ship. The alien crew members had seen the humans fight. They knew what kind of allies they were gaining. Day removed his armor collar and revealed his throat markings completely. The intricate tattoos told the story of human military evolution. Each symbol represented a battle fought, a lesson learned, a capability gained. "These markings represent our history," he explained to Admiral Roth. "Every human operative carries them. They are a reminder of what we have survived and what we are capable of." Admiral Roth studied the tattoos carefully. She could see STAR. Charts, weapon designs, tactical formations, and historical records. But most importantly, she could see the pride and determination that had carried humanity through their darkest times. "What does this symbol mean?" she asked, pointing to a complex design near his collarbone. "That represents the Sigma conflict," Day replied. 15 years of war that taught us everything we know about survival." "And this one? The day we joined the Federation, the day we chose to hide our strength in order to survive." Admiral Roth nodded. "And today?" Day smiled for the first time since she had known him. "Today we choose to reveal our strength.